Hi, this is Kyle Krafka, and I'm going to show you how to get connected to the resources you'll need for 1730. This video is specifically for Windows users, so if you're a Mac user, you'll want to check out the other video. So we're going to look at two different software programs you can use. We're going to learn how to transfer files back and forth, and I'm going to show you a caveat you need to know if you're getting connected to the VM instead of Nike. So Windows does not include the software we need, so we're going to have to use some special software known as an SSH client. SSH is just a protocol like HTTP or FTP, and SSH is secure, so you can use this in a public location, say a coffee shop, and not worry about somebody snooping on you. The two options we have, and I'm sure there are many more, but we're going to look at SSH Secure Shell Client and Putty. Secure Shell Client is the one we used in lab. This one's nice because it includes a file transfer utility built right into it. So if you're on your terminal, you can click and instantly have a file transfer window ready. Putty is also a popular option. It's got some good default settings for our server configuration. It's also free online, and it's available on your lab computers. I don't think Putty has a file transfer utility, but I'm going to show you a separate file transfer utility you can use that works just as well. Both of them are great. They're both fully featured. They're both functional, and they'll do what we need it to do. So you're welcome to choose either of them. So let's first take a look at Secure Shell. I'm going to use IE because Chrome actually gave me problems recording this video last time. And I'm going to search for UGA software. It's actually going to take me to eits.uga.edu/software. And on this page, I'm going to download SSH software here. It's going to ask for my UGA username and password. And I'll save this. Thank you, IE. We'll run it. And this is a pretty simple installer. I'm just going to go with all the defaults here. Looks good to me. Alright, we're all done. I'm going to close out of this. And look at that. SSH Secure Shell Client. This is the file transfer utility it comes with, but we can open this from directly within here. So let's try it out. Now that I have it open, I'm going to click Quick Connect, enter my host name, which is, first we're going to get connected to Nike. So nike.cs.uga.edu. You're going to enter your Nike username here. This is not your MyID. And the default number of port 22 is correct. So we'll connect here. It's going to give me this warning the first time. It's just saying I'm connecting to some foreign host. I am going to save this to the local database because I do trust this server. I'll enter my password. And it's asking me to add a profile. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to save it as, let's say, UGA Nike. Add to profiles. Now in the future I can just go to profiles and down to here instead of Quick Connect. All right. So now I'm logged in. We see this works just fine. Enter a command. It works. There are a few settings that we probably want to set in here. Potentially more, but I'm just going to show you the ones that initially proved useful. I'm going to choose, this is under settings. I click the settings icon there. Went down to keyboard, and I want backspace to send delete, and I also want to use alt as a meta key and send escape. Both of these will hopefully prove useful. I'll push OK, and now I'm just going to actually I'm going to show you this here, this file transfer right here. First off, if you want to open up another shell, you can click on that one and instantly have two of them. You can also open up a new file transfer window. And there are all your Nike files. And I can just close some of those. I think it'll automatically disconnect from you. You can type exit to disconnect. And now when I close this, it's asking me if I want to save my settings. Those are those settings I changed up here, so I will say yes. Alright, that's Secure Shell Client. Now we're going to take a look at Putty. I'm going to go download that. I'll search for Putty. The first result or the second result are actually fine there. Now we have a couple different options here. We can download a standalone executable, which you can save in whatever folder you want on your computer, or you can download an installer, which will put it in your start menu and organize things for you. Looks like they do have an FTP client, but we're not going to look at that. Let's download the installer here. All right. Again, the installation is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I do want a desktop icon. This is fine. I don't think you can go wrong there. I don't want to view the README though. Alright, great. Now Putty is installed. I have an icon on my desktop. And here, much like Secure Shell Client, I'll just enter my host name. This is sort of the quick connect dialog. Port 22 is the default. And I do want to save this as a profile just like before. So you could just immediately click open, but I'm going to save this as UGA Nike. So later on, if I open up Putty again, I can just double click on that or just select load, change some settings, save them again. And since this is the first time Putty is connected to Nike, it's going to ask me if I trust this host. I'm going to say yes. And I will enter in my username here. It's my Nike username. And it'll ask for my password. Now here, it's not going to put any stars or dots for my password. It's not going to show anything. But it's listening. So again, I'm connected. I can print out my directory and everything's fine. Now here, if I want to transfer files, I recommend the FileZilla application. FileZilla is available free online. It's pretty easy to install. Let's see where to get it here. So it's actually hosted on SourceForge. I can get it from here, filezilla-project.org. I think that's a good option. We'll click download FileZilla client. And instead of downloading from SourceForge, I think we should download just that one file so there are no additional offers built in. And I would include this, I would download this setup version. It'll have an installer for you. Alright, so from FileZilla, it's much the same as all the other things we've been doing. So the hostname is nike.cs.uga.edu. Same username, same password. And this part is important. You actually have to type in port 22 here. You'll see if you mouse over it, it'll tell you the default for FTP is 21 and SFTP is 22. FTP is not enabled, so we need to tell it SFTP. And I'll quick connect and there are all my files. So that is fine. So what I was going to say about the virtual machines. So the virtual machines are behind the UGA firewall. Nike is not. You can log into Nike from anywhere, but the virtual machines, you have to be either on campus or you have to connect some other way. So one way to connect to the virtual machines is by tunneling through Nike. So I could log into Nike like this, and then I could connect to my virtual machine from here. So that would look like SSH, my username, and then you can type in your VM. You can either type in the IP address or the VM host number. So I'll do my VM here. It'll ask me if I want to connect. I'll say yes, and then it'll ask for my password. And that's one way of doing it without any special software other than what we've already downloaded. But I'm going to show you another way that's perhaps easier. You'll need a special VPN software. So UGA provides some software for us to get basically on campus via the internet. So you'll just go to remote.uga.edu, and that is going to ask you to log in with your MyID and password, and this will automatically set it up for you. I'm not going to set it up now, but it'll install this software called Cisco AnyConnect. It'll just sit down in your tray down here, and whenever you need to access your virtual machine, you'll click on that. You'll connect to remote.uga.edu. You'll enter your UGA MyID and password, and you'll click Connect. Then you can go to Putty or Secure Shell Client and type in your IP address. You can't type in the host name from here, so you'll actually need to type out the full IP address if you're doing the VPN option. And when you connect, it'll ask you for your username and password. I don't have that installed right now, so it's not going to allow me on there. That's the firewall kicking me off. But that's all we need to know. So we looked at Secure Shell Client to connect. We looked at Putty. We also looked at FileZilla, and we learned how to connect to the VPN with remote.uga.edu if you need to connect to your virtual machine. I hope this was informative. Have a great day.